So I would like to introduce Dr. Anil Johri sir. Dr. Anil Johri sir is a former CEO of National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, NABCB, a constituent board of the Quality Council of India and National Accreditation Body for Certification and Inspection attached to Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He has 41 plus years, great sir, great sir. He has 41 plus years of experience in the field of quality, standards, certification, and accreditation, having worked earlier in BSI, National Standards Body, and EIC, Export Inspection Council, India's official export regulator and certification body under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He joined NABCEB in 2006 at Advisor, was appointed director in 2010 and CEO in 2013. Great sir, congratulations, salute sir. NABCEB secured a member of international equivalences such as product certification, inspection, various management systems like food safety, information security, occupational health, and safety and energy management systems, and personal certifications. Besides being instrumental in supporting regulators like PNGRB, FSSAI, CDSCO, BEE in developing system for using accredited third-party agencies, he also led development of number of voluntary certification schemes of QCI, mark like notably IUS mark for IUS products, ICMED scheme for medical devices, yoga certification, traditional healer certification, in GAP, in GHP India HACCP certification, in Agri-Food Center, post-retirement in July 19. Besides being a lead assessor for accreditation bodies like NABCB, ANAB, and UAF in USA, he is an evaluator for the Asia Pacific Accreditation Corporation, APAC, as well as International Accreditation Forum. So without wasting much time, he really, sir, your introduction is really like we are showing some Deepak to sun. Please, please, great, sir. It will be a blessing to hear you. Knowledgeable, expertise, scientific. You have devoted your life whole for standardization. And this is the right celebration of Standards Day today that we have a dignitary like you, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Sharma ji. I am very glad to be here and grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to speak to your audience. I hope I can share my PPT. See if you people can see it now. So I'm to speak on Ayush Mark scheme. Before I start, just two corrections. Dr. Sharma, मेरा experience ये है कि if you deal with education people or doctors, वो सबको डॉक्टर्स बोलते हैं. माई फादर वॉज ए प्रोफेसर, तो वो मैं बचपन से फेस कर चुका हूँ. मैं डॉक्टर नहीं हूँ, जस्ट ए प्रोफेशनल. और दूसरा, मैं आयुर्वेदा फील्ड से भी नहीं, विच इज़ ए रिमार्केबल पार्ट ऑफ माई करियर दैट having worked in standards, certification and accreditation, I reached a stage where I am being invited to help develop schemes in different sectors. So आपने जो डॉक्टर शर्मा ने मेरा brief पढ़ा, उसमें you would have heard him say medical devices, maybe security agencies. So different sectors I have done. But Ayush Mark is a special case because this was the first scheme that we developed way back in 2009. And I still remember, and I credit that to the Secretary Ayush of that time, Mrs. Jalaja, who was very focused on quality in different areas. And she took a meeting in December 2008. In fact, I remember the date, 24th of December 2008, where she asked this question whether there can be a voluntary certification scheme for Ayush products. And I said, certainly, why not? All of you know that Ayush products in any case are regulated under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. You also know that the regulations are not aligned with international standards, which is what happens in many domestic regulations in India. And at that time, at least, there was a huge challenge of implementing Schedule T, GMP as per Schedule T for the Ayush units. And regulators have certain constraints. So the idea was that could there be a voluntary mechanism to supplement the regulations? And could it also prepare the Ayush industry for exports? The objective was to upgrade quality through a voluntary certification mechanism. And QCI as a national body was asked, and I was personally present in the meeting, I was asked whether we can develop a certification scheme. Of course, I had worked in BIS and worked in certification for several years. I was in NABCB within QCI, which is also a accredited certification body. So we had all the experience of product certification, process certification, system certification. But this was the first time I actually was asked to develop a scheme. And this was the first experience we did. After that, I have probably been involved in about 15 schemes now. But this is a special one because this was the first one. So when I said yes, Department of Ayush said we'll be happy to fund the scheme. So they assigned a project to us, and we created an in-house team of experts. This has also become a trademark in QCI and something which we started. I call myself a matchmaker these days. We match the domain experts, say for Ayurveda or medical devices or yoga, with certification and accreditation experts like us. And this group then creates the scheme. So we did that, and I remember, I don't know whether she's joined, she did say she will join. Dr. Deepika Gunwant was the expert from Ayurveda who we picked up to help us. And she stays stays with QCI as an expert from the Ayurveda side. We also created a governing structure, which has become also a tradition in QCI to create this kind of structure with a steering committee, multi-stakeholder steering committee, which was headed by Secretary Ayush herself, a technical committee, and a certification committee. So the technical committee was the one which would be experts, technical experts in that sector. Certification committee would comprise people like me, who are certification experts and provide certification solutions. And then we prepared a draft scheme and placed it on the website for comments. We also had, I remember, at least one I remember now, it's very old, 12 years old story, but we went to Bombay and had an interaction with the Ayush industry, presented the draft scheme and took their comments, which is something which is an international best practice, that if you develop standards and say scheme, you should take public comments, put it on the website, let anybody comment, take care of those comments, and then launch the scheme. So finally, after all these formalities were done, we launched the scheme in October of 2009. Now, this scheme has two levels of certification, which are deliberately kept. One is Ayush Standard Mark, which only is compliance to the domestic regulation. So whatever is today prescribed as regulation under drugs and cosmetics rules is what, through a third-party audit mechanism, the manufacturer needs to show. And the second level was Ayush Premium Mark, which was intended for not only exports, but yes, with an eye on exports. And it has two options. Option A is compliance to WHO GMP and limits of contaminants, which are given in the scheme. And option B is regulatory requirements of importing countries provided more stringent than A above. So in some cases, the GMP is probably even more stiff, for example, in EC perhaps. So we gave these two options. So basically, you can say that WHO GMP plus internationally acceptable limits of contaminants, the pesticide residue, aflatoxin, etc., have been prescribed. And because the foreign market is not ready for metallic medicines which are there in Indian system, so this option is premium mark is available only for herbal products for the time being. Possibly we need to prepare a WHO GMP equivalent GMP for metallic products, something that QCI should be looking at. In case of premium mark, compliance to domestic regulations is a prerequisite. You should have a license in any case for both the marks, and also an in-house lab or arrangement with an external lab, either approved by the CDSCO under drugs and cosmetic rules or NABL accredited. As I see from the website, currently 2 certification bodies have been approved under the scheme. So you don't apply to either QCI or to Ministry of Ayush. QCI is the scheme owner along with Ministry of Ayush, and you have to apply to the independently approved bodies. One is called TQ-CERT. It's a Tata company. It's based in Hyderabad, and the other is called IR Class, which is based in Mumbai. Both these bodies have been assessed by QCI and are also now accredited by NABCB as per international standard ISO 17065. And these are the 2 bodies which are undertaking certification in the market. So if you as an industry want to have a certification, you can go to either of them and apply. And you have to, as I said, you have to have a license in place, and the products which are covered in your license are those which you can apply for. So but you don't have to apply for all the products. You can choose to apply because it's a voluntary scheme. You can choose to apply for dosage forms and products as you wish. And the requirement is that you should be, for Ayush Premium Mark requirement is you should be in a production for at least 1 year. And you should have produced at least 5 commercial batches within a dosage form in the current license period. So this is the prerequisite. So we require that certain amount of maturity among manufacturers is there when they come for Ayush Premium Mark. The certification body will review your application. It collects a lot of data about your factory in terms of processes, outsourced processes, etc. And evaluation time also, some guidance has been given that 1.5 man days for standard mark and 2.5 man days for premium mark. And if you, for any additional dosage, it will be 0.5 man days added. And if you have more than 20 employees, for every 20 employees, multiple of 20 employees, 0.5 man days would be added. And if you have an in-house lab, so some time would be needed for evaluation of the lab as well as witnessing the testing in the factory. So that time would also get added. In case of standard mark, it's a single stage on-site audit, which means a single audit and that is done. But in case of premium marks, it's a 2-stage audit. All of you who might have taken ISO 9001 certification or maybe ISO 22000 certification in some cases will be well aware of the certification process internationally, that 2-stage audits are done, stage 1 and stage 2. So we followed the same system for premium mark, given that we are looking for international acceptance of premium mark. There are 2 categories of non-conformities prescribed, major or minor. One critical part of the process is sampling for independent testing. Samples are drawn during the inspection by the certification body, and from each dosage form, what is described is that from each dosage form, samples should be drawn. 25% products from each dosage form. So if you are applying for example, 10 products, 3 of them would be sampled. But if you are doing testing in NABL accredited labs, your own or external, as part of your process control, then this gets relaxed to 1 sample per dosage form. So you get some incentive if you have a lab of your own, which is NABL accredited, or you have an arrangement with an NABL accredited lab to get your samples tested on your own. But if this 1 sample per dosage form, if it fails, then we revert back to the 25% sample. So it's important that NABL accredited labs are used in international certification norms require that labs should be accredited labs or 1725 compliant, ISO 1725 compliant. That's what we have kept. There is also a concept of internal quality assurance protocol. A model has been given in the scheme, which it is for control of the production process. What should be the batch size? What should be the frequency of testing? What should be the control on raw materials? What should be in process controls, etc. But these need to be customized for each client. So it's the certification body's responsibility after your inspection that they should apply this model plan and provide you with a plan that you should, that all certification is all based on trust. Nobody is sitting in the factory for all 24 hours of the day or 365 days of the year. So we assume that if you are following a particular system, you will consistently produce good quality, and we give you freedom as certification bodies or scheme owners to go on certifying your product based on that system. So this internal quality assurance protocol is an important document which decides on in-process controls and production process controls. Ultimately, after the audits have been done, some testing has been witnessed in the factory, some independent testing has been done, reverse test reports have arrived, assuming everything is okay. A final evaluation offsite sitting in the office will be done by the certification body. We have a concept of 4 eyes. 4 eyes means those who went for the assessment will not be involved in review. Independent review is done by a set of competent people, and a final decision is done by the certification body. Based on that decision, a certificate is issued. The format of certificates is given in the scheme documents. If you go to the QCI website, you can see the formats, and the certificate is issued for 3 years. These are the 2 marks I thought I'll show you. The Ayush standard mark on the left and Ayush premium mark on the right. The premium mark deliberately was kept golden to imply higher, higher level of this certification. So these are the 2 marks that you will get to apply on the product. Product certification means you apply, for example, you have seen ISI mark or egg mark we have seen for years from our childhood maybe. So these marks can be applied on the products. Post grant of certification, you have surveillance every year, and the surveillance is same as stage 2 audit in case of premium mark or the initial audit done for standard mark. So same time would be used, and there is some sampling prescribed either from factory or from the market. So it has components of both factory sampling as well as market sampling. So certification body can just go to the market and buy your product, certified product. And the idea is that all dosage forms should be covered within a cycle, that is cycle of 3 years. Then every 3 years, there will be a renewal. Before renewal also, there will be an audit. Again, the same similar audit as in initial evaluation, only stage 2. Initial evaluation is 2 stage in case of premium, but in case of renewal, only stage 2 is to be done. Like it happens in all cases of such certification schemes, there are provisions for suspending a certificate, cancelling a certificate, adding scopes. If you have applied initially for 1 dosage form, you want to add 3 more, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to reduce for some reason, you stop production of some, and then of course there are provisions for complaints and appeals. This is meant for the certification body. So as a client, as an industry, if you are not happy with some decision of the certification body, you can appeal to them. And if you have some grievances about their service, their auditors coming late, not behaving properly, or the certification body itself delaying things, you can lodge a complaint. So those provisions are also there in the certification process. I was just looking at the QCI website. As I can see, about 63 manufacturers as of today are certified under the scheme. 27 of them are holding ISO standard mark and 38 of them are holding premium mark. And this slight mismatch, if you think is a mismatch, 2 manufacturers are holding both the marks, which means for some products they have taken ISO premium mark, and for some products they have taken ISO standard mark. Therefore, this 38 plus 27 becomes 65. But the total list, if you see on the website, is 63 manufacturers. Now, voluntary certification, as you can understand, is voluntary and it needs incentivization, because otherwise, why would I go for? As an industry, my question would be, if I was in the industry, why should I go for this certificate? What does it get me? And let's face it, quality has to deliver profits and money. Otherwise, nobody will go for quality. So I'm very clear as a quality professional over the years that nobody is doing charity in this world. Businesses are businesses. Their bottom line is important. Quality has to contribute to the bottom line. Now, where does the incentive come from? The biggest pressure that comes on a manufacturer is from his buyers. If the buyers insist on something, he will do, because otherwise he doesn't sell the product. Of course, supply side incentive can also be there. Manufacturers can be incentivized to go for this kind of certification, which government does, especially for small scale units. So some of these measures have been taken. Ministry of Ayush had issued an advisory to all the states to give preference to WHO GMP or Ayush Premium Mark certified manufacturers in public procurement of medicines. So many states have actually incorporated that in their purchase policy. You'll find, I could see UP, Odisha and Rajasthan who have done so in their purchase policy. In addition, as I said, supply side incentives can also be there. Manufacturers can be incentivized by giving them some subsidy or financial incentive. And that is, at least I could see, UP government has a scheme for incentivizing manufacturers. And similarly, Gujarat government also has a scheme for incentivizing manufacturers to go for this Ayush Mark scheme. I'm also aware I continue to be involved with the Department of Commerce even today. And the various trade negotiations are going on. And one of the standing items in trade negotiations is getting our pharma, because pharma is a strong point for us. Our strong points are agri-food and pharma. So whenever we have a trade negotiation, we seek access to their market for these two products or easier access to their markets. And in pharma, Ayush is automatically covered. And we are arguing with, because foreign countries want at least minimum WHO GMP, we are proposing to them that they should accept Ayush Premium Mark as a demonstration of compliance to their regulations. So these are various methods being tried. These are the way voluntary certifications are promoted and incentivized. But I think one part which probably needs to be focused more is promoting them among common consumers. When common consumers know, okay, I want this mark, and they go to the shop and say, well, I want, say, a Chyawanprash with Ayush Premium Mark, the message quickly goes back to the factories that the customer is asking for Ayush Mark. And also in this case, because doctors are prescribing, medical practitioners also need to be, educated and sensitized to the quality part, so that they can prescribe medicines which are carrying Ayush Mark. Our expectation when we started this was that this will upgrade quality in the country. This is a slow process. One has to be patient. The Ayurvedic medicines have been under target of criticism in terms of contamination, etc. So this was intended to neutralize that kind of criticism. So hopefully it's growing. As I can see, 60 odd manufacturers now. It's slow progress, but I find that the Ayush industry even today is not willing to accept WHO GMP in the regulations. So we will have to continue to have some way of certifying to WHO GMP, and this is one of the ways. So this is where you can find all the information. Once upon a time, I was leading this this activity, but now you can go to this place. The address is given here. The email and telephone numbers and website is given. Anybody who wants more information is available on the website. Of course, I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have to the best of my ability. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma, once again for inviting me here. And I hope it was useful to learn about the Ayush Mark scheme. Thank you.